Hi guys and welcome. Hope you're all doing well. For today, we're gonna do something different. I'm gonna talk about my top 5 favorite thrash metal bands of all time. It's about bands that I listen and still now all this time of my life that I'm listening to metal. Doesn't mean that they're the best. If we can define the best by big brand names or whatever, I just felt very connected with their music, and I think these are the ones that I catch myself to listen more. Because there are other big bands, great bands out there, like Anthrax, Overkill, Exodus, Sodom, Tankard, Annihilator, like big names that I don't listen to them. I listen to them, but they're okay, and their music doesn't stick with me, with my music taste. Besides, from my list, as well as you all know, I was never a fan of Metallica, neither Megadeth. So Metallica and Megadeth are not in my list today, because I was listening other bands way more than them throughout my life. So that's what it is today. The favorite, the top 5 favorite of my choice, my taste. So I'm gonna show you one CD. I'm gonna talk about the band a little bit, and maybe I give some, let's say 2-3 good albums that it's worth to check. So let's go for my number 5 on my list. It's Destruction, great German thrash metal band, amazing. Through the years they had, of course, a lot of changes in the lineup. Usually Smear, the singer and bass player, and Mike, the guitarist, they were the main members of the band. Last couple of years we'll see that Randy Black is stayed with the band for a lot of albums as well, which is good. Look, we can say the first era of Destruction up to 93, 94 is a bit more technical guitars, a lot. Production, that was the only problem. Yeah, if you don't mind, production, go and listen to these albums. After that, they became with killer productions after All Hell Breaks Loose album and above, all of them, crisp productions, very good productions, but some of the albums, they sound a little bit similar with other ones, so they don't stand out much. For me, if I have to pick, let's say 3 albums from the band, I would say definitely Eternal Devastation is one of the big hitters of the band. The Antichrist, of course, the newer era is great. And Release from Agony as well, from the first era, very technical guitars. I think it's very good albums for someone that wants to jump into Destruction and start listening. That was for Destruction. My 4th place now, my 4th favorite band, is not a very big one brand name. It is popular, of course, but not very big one like Destruction. Comes from Sweden, and I'm talking about The Haunted. Uh, for me, The Haunted, their debut album is one of the best debut albums, not only thrash metal, but ever. In general, we could say it was an amazing album. I think it was the album that kind of a bit saved thrash metal back in 90s because as you all remember, all these big bands, they were experimenting with the sound. Some bands, they became a bit more rock. Let's see, Metallica, kind of. Some others try to be a bit more industrial gothic, like Creator as well. Even Slayer, they put nu metal elements in their albums. Still, though, they kept a little bit that thrash element, but most of the bands, they were experimenting. So the 90s era, it was a little bit not good going for thrash metal. And then The Haunted came and released the debut album with just a killer. I mean, amazing album. And even now, I listen to The Haunted daily. Great band, the rhythm guitars, great. And of course, from that is because one of the guitarists, Anders Björler, was a member of At the Gates. So when At the Gates disbanded after the Slaughter of the Soul album, three of the members of them created The Haunted. So that's why the quality of music was there. And this one helped the thrash metal scene. From this band is divided with two singers, Peter Dolving and Marco Aro. So for me, the first three albums of the band is a great example for someone that wants to jump into The Haunted and listen and see what is about them. The first debut was with Peter Dolving on vocals, then the other two with Marco Aro, a little bit different, more harsh vocals. So yeah, these three albums are a great introduction to The Haunted, an amazing band from Sweden. Next one, number 3 on my list, is a big name, of course, and I'm going with Creator. In my opinion, the best band from Germany, the best of the big four of thrash, German thrash metal bands. Creator, they started very brutal back in 80s with the albums Endless Pain and The Pleasure to Kill. Aggressive, brutal, not good production, of course. Back in the day, they were liking about the production, the thrash metal bands. If they weren't from America, usually the American bands, they had a little bit better production. Later on 90s Creator, they had a big experimental, let's say, period. Started with a renewal album. Although Cause for Conflict was a little bit industrial elements, but still kept the thrash elements as well. The other two, though, were way more than thrash. I'm talking about Outcast and Endorama. One was fully industrial metal. The other one was gothic. Good music, of course, not bad. If it was released by any other band, it would be like great album. But because they have the name Creator there, you expect something like thrash. So yeah, but then they came back. They came back more melodic. They have a little bit of this Swedish kind of melodic death metal elements in their music, and after that, they play kind of the same, let's say, way, that melodic one. Still great music. Is one of my daily bands that I listen. Beautiful music. And of course, the leader, Mile Petroza, he stayed from the start of Creator until now, so he's like kind of what is Dave Mustaine of Megadeth. That's what is Mille Petrosa. 3 albums from Creator. You have to listen something from the old ones, but maybe, especially for the newer audience, they're not going to be very satisfied with the production. So I would advise Extreme Aggression. Then you can go, I would say, Enemy of God or Phantom Antichrist. Very good albums. And if you want to see how they were experimenting, those experimental albums, I can advise Endorama. It's pretty good music, gothic, but pretty good if someone wants to try something different. Otherwise, yeah, I can go with Comb of Souls, a great album from the 90s, just before they changed their sound. So, next one, my favorite number 2 thrash metal band of all time, and very close, I have to say, to my number 1, very close. But number 1 is always have a special spot in my heart. But number 2 for me, and I consider them not only one of my favorite, but one of the best thrash metal bands out there in quality of music as well. And I'm talking about Testament, great band. Definitely they deserve to be in the big 4 of American thrash metal bands. What can we say about these guys? One of the best debut albums, The Legacy, great musicianship. All these years, they changed a little bit the lineup. Chuck Billy is the only member with Eric Peterson that stayed through the years, even the hard times. What makes Testament special for me? The experimental period that they had, 90s. Almost all the bands, they went a little bit softer, changed their sound, more mainstream. We could say more heavy metal, more rock metal, industrial, as we said before about Creator, gothic, whatever. What Testament did, they make it harder, their sound. They went into death metal path. So demonic album from the 90s is like completely death metal album, and then you have the other 2 albums, Low and The Gathering, that kind of making a trilogy of extreme sound of Testament. But they are a bit more versatile. They're not that such heavy, which Low is a little bit, has a lot of elements of Pantera, Machine Head there. And then The Gathering, it's a little bit more thrashy, but with death elements. Great music. The latest album, Parabellum, has a little bit, in my opinion, some black metal riffs inside, which easily could be in a death metal, let's say, band. These riffs, what can we say? They recruited all these years great musicians with them. Steve DiGiorgio on bass guitar, one of the best bass players of all time. About drummers, what can we talk about? Gene Hoglan, the Atomic Clock, Dave Lombardo, the legendary drummer, the amazing dynamic playing, Paul Bostaff, great names, great musicians with them, James Murphy on guitars. Yeah, the band, all the era, or all the different eras of this band is amazing. If I can choose 3 different albums, definitely debut album, The Legacy, is a must. If we can go to the experimental era, I would say The Gathering, fantastic album. And the newer stuff, after Alex Kolnick came back, I could go with Brotherhood of the Snake, great album, or Formation of Damnation. Yeah, amazing stuff from Testament. I think these three albums, a great introduction for someone that haven't listened to Testament before. Is an amazing band. Is one of these bands that, even though they classified as thrash metal, people that listen to different music, different genres, can easily listen to them. I reckon their music satisfies big audience, not only thrash metal fans. So great band for me. That's why I have them in a second favorite of all time. And for my number one, of course, if you're watching this channel, of course, I mentioned them many times, so you know what's coming. Big name, one of the biggest out there bands of all time, and in my opinion, the biggest thrash metal band of all time, Slayer. Because Metallica and Megadeth, especially Metallica, I don't consider them thrash metal band. They contributed in thrash with their first albums, but they didn't have the consistency. Slayer is a pure definition of thrash metal. Was the extreme, let's say, thrash metal band of the 80s, the band that defined the sound of thrash metal, especially with the Raining Blood album. The Kings of Thrash, the best thrash metal album out there. If you want someone to describe you what is a thrash metal, give him the Raining Blood album, and that explains everything. All the intensity, aggression, darkness, name it, whatever. Slayer is this one. Of course, they had, let's say, two different eras, and this one was classified by the change of the drummers. So the legendary era of Slayer was, of course, Dave Lombardo, and then was a big change, which Paul Bostaph came in and became a kind of permanent member, because he played in many Slayer albums, although they had a small break and recruited Lombardo back for 2 albums as a session musician, though. Big reputation, great band. Was one of my first metal bands that I ever listened to it. Usually people start with Black Sabbath, and I didn't start with Black Sabbath. I started with Manowar, to be honest, Iron Maiden, and then jumped to Slayer straight away. I was fascinated by their music, amazing songs, amazing albums. If I have to give you 3 albums to listen, of course, Raining Blood, the ultimate thrash metal album there. We could say South of Heaven. Another one is great because it's a slower album, slower tempos, different kind of playing from Slayer. And because it's my favorite, I'm gonna give you 4 albums. Seasons in the Abyss, the other one, great one, and something more fresh sound, something newer. You can go and listen to Divine Intervention or this album, God Hates Us All, something a little bit different, a little bit with new metal elements inside, so you can see how Slayer, they blend their music, their traditional thrash, with a little bit newer elements of the music. And that's it. That was my list for today. My top 5 favorite thrash metal bands. If you liked this video, hit the like button, please. Subscribe to my channel. I always say that it's free. You don't have to pay nothing. And leave a comment below. What's your favorite top 5 thrash metal list? Which one you would change from my list and you will put in? And support the channel, so I will do more videos like that in the future with more different genres. And yeah, until next time, see you. Bye.